Hello, everybody. Hopefully that worked. The YouTube side is still being slow. I don't know what's going on. It says y'all are waiting for me, but I know y'all aren't. Okay. What works, I suppose. All right, well, there's no one in here other than my phone, so I can watch live chat while giving the presentation. These never turn out very good. I never have a big turnout for these. While we wait, why don't we tie some little flies? I bought some little hooks at Cabela's today. So let me... I will go get that and we will tie little flies, I suppose. All right. Is there size? Oh, y'all aren't going to be able to see because my... Oh, maybe. Size 12. 25 of them. Teeny hooks. Kind of the point. Trying to open it without them all going everywhere. These are tiny. They do have little barbs, but they're so tiny, I can't see it really making a difference. So that way y'all can see the hook. Maybe without my hand in the way. There's a size on my thumb. Real tiny. The delay is better today than it normally is. I imagine this hook's not real sturdy either, so gonna have to be careful while tying with it. Something else good about them is these Ranger Pete's little grubs, maggots that I won from the Sunfish King. I should be able to use on these. So why don't we test that real fast? I'm gonna pull out one of these Ranger Pete's maggots. This is just a test for me because I'm generally curious. Because otherwise I have nothing that fits these. Wow, it's even a little big for the Ranger Pete's maggots. That just shows how small these things really are. I'm gonna rig this one up, and this will be like a tail or something, I guess, for my fly. Gosh, this hook's so little, I'm having issues hooking it. In case y'all can't tell, as a saltwater fisherman, I don't really deal with stuff this tiny typically, and when I do, it is pre-bought sabiki rigs, not you have to rig it yourself little maggot flies. Okay, I mean, you can see that's pretty good looking in my opinion. What am I gonna want to tie with this? Wow, y'all can't really see that. Here, let me hold it closer to the camera. The amount of wiggle in the plastic is crazy. That's cool. Let's see, what type of fly should I hi. There is still no one other than me in the chat for this fish discussion. I have an idea. Oh, someone popped in. It says there's a second person. So, hello, other viewer. I am. Oh, they left. That sucks. Didn't even say hi. That's anyway. We're gonna take some of the black Chanel. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing that right. First, I'm gonna find my fly tying scissors. Here's some that will work. Oh, here my regular ones are. We'll cut some Chanel. Not a ton, but definitely some. No, call that a 3.5, 4-inch section of Chanel. I am almost out of Chanel too. Jeez, I'm moving low. Anyway, we're gonna start tying. So we're gonna build up this. Oh my gosh. I've never tied on a hook this little. To think I was thinking about getting smaller hooks. Insane. I'm going to tie right to the edge of the grub. If I was smart, I would tie it down, but I'm not going to. That way it is replaceable for whenever it gets eaten off by a creek chub or something tiny and a little nuisance of a fish. It fell out. Here, let's see. We're going to make it where it holds smaller objects. That should do it. Pull back out some. It's a little hook, but it is clearly sharp enough to hurt. As are a lot of little hooks, I guess. Once we got someone else in here, we'll start talking about blacktip sharks. I spent quite a while making a presentation for them. It's a saltwater species. Pretty cool. This will be the first saltwater species I've done for my thing. All right, so now we're going to take this Chanel. Make sure we're tied back all the way to the grub. Tie down the Chanel. Tie it down pretty tightly. I'm realizing I didn't need this big of a piece of Chanel at all. All right. We are going to wrap it with the Chanel. You know. And one loose wrap, two. All right, now we're tightening up. Pretty heavy. I'm gonna clip off this tag Chanel. All right, so now we got this real fuzzy fly. We're going to whip finish it. And once we get that out of the way, we'll trim up the fly some. All right. So now I can take this and I can cut this. So now it'll hold itself together. And we are going to come in and do some trimming. That's not good. I accidentally cut my first whip finish. That is why I always do two. All right, now we're just going to come in and really trim it up. Smaller the profile for this one, the better in general. Kind of make it look like just a little maggot or something. Super detailed, it definitely will not be for the first time with something this little. But it's simple, it's easy. It's quick to tie, and it looks like it would be relatively effective, actually, for some little fish. Little chubs, little shiners, little bait fish. All right. Still needs a little bitty bit of a cleanup here. We're going to snip, snip, snip. Just try to make sure this hook point stays relatively exposed. Relatively even exposure. Don't want the Chanel affecting hookups, because then, catching less fish. No one wants that. And the people who don't like to fish, because they were never taught what amazingness is. All right, flipped up the final long one. I will give y'all a good show. All right. It's really hard to see for y'all, but this is the grub, and that's Chanel on the front. Just kind of looks like a little bug, honestly. The Chanel might make it, if not float, sink at an unbelievably slow rate. All right, this is now by far, if it didn't have the Chanel, it would be the smallest profile fly I've ever tied. All right. That took up a little bit of time. You don't have a whole lot of time tonight, so I am going to share screen, and we are going to wait for someone else to come in on my... Uh-oh. What happened? Yes, present from the first slide. So I want to see how this looks on y'all's end. From the YouTube side. It looks like it should be clear enough, especially if y'all are on a laptop and not a phone. Let's see here. It might be kind of hard if you're on a phone to read stuff. My phone's making it kind of fuzzy, but my phone typically makes stuff fuzzy. Is the thing. I just realized there's a few other people live, like let's see, Tiffany's Infinity and Backlash Fisherman. That's not great. Two Stands is going live and 7:15. So like however long time that is. Small Water Charters is going live for too terribly long. That seems to be all. We're going live. And well, we're just going to wait here for someone to come by, and then we will start our presentation about blacktip sharks. So, well, there's no one in here, so I might as well wait to say something. If anyone watches this back, you'll hear me say it again. But so, let's see, can y'all see my mouse move on the YouTube side? Yes, y'all can. So right here, you'll see the anal fin of this shark. It has a black tip on it. This is not a black tip shark on my starting thing. Black tip sharks do not have a black tip on their anal fin. So that is something for you to know. Last time it took like 20 minutes for someone to show up, so hopefully, maybe. We're kind of getting there now. Been live for 17 minutes. Someone popped in, never said hi, left because I was tying a fly, I'm assuming. Okay. Just waiting on someone to come by, drop by, and I'll start my presentation. 21 slides. It's 21 slides. Lots of them will be really fast. Some of them will take a little bit longer on, especially if someone's confused in chat. If anyone shows up for chat. Let's see. Things to talk about while I wait, while I'm bored. What to do. The issue is there's a, call it 10 to 15 second delay. It might be less right now. My phone showing it is less. My phone showing it is approximately, let's see. Snap my fingers. 1, 2, 3. It just came up. So about a 4-second delay time. So there's about a 4-second delay time. So that's not bad. If I see someone pop in on my live chat, I can definitely, on my phone, I can relatively quickly jump straight into the presentation upon seeing them, and within relative time, they'll be seeing my reaction. Oliver is my cat, and he is just thinking about being very bad He was going to get in my bag of stuff. Don't know. Still waiting on someone to pop in. I'm a small channel, so I never have a whole lot of people in. Kitty. I keep my phone watching. Gives me some watch hours. It also allows me to better respond to chat if I'm busy doing something. I'll probably edit this down and then upload it whenever I give the presentation. That's probably what I'll do. Y'all can sort of see him. This is my cat. This is him talking here. I can go to StreamYard and just go to one person. Yes. So this is my cat. His name's Oliver. What was the layout I had it on? There it is. This is my cat, Oliver. All right, it's been 21 minutes. One person came in and popped out instantly. That was like, call it 15 minutes ago. Probably closer to 10. What to do. I was really excited for this one. I worked for about 2 hours making the presentation. No, I didn't add a whole bunch of animations or anything, but I did want it to look nice with photos, relatively useful information. All that you see in this presentation is knowledge I've learned. I didn't look up any of this knowledge. Other than the video y'all will see in here, which I've had in a playlist that I have it on private for years now, my fish identification. I might make that one public. It's none of my videos, but it's helpful to me. So I'm sure some other people would use it. But so I kind of knew that one, and everything else I've been taught or learned myself. So I didn't look anything up specifically for the purpose of this. I did look up some things to verify. Like I verified diet. I verified diet. I verified. I don't remember, but after saying I didn't look up any information, I realized I was wrong. I did look up very basic information. I looked up the IGFA world records. I looked up the Texas state records. Someone else came in. I think they left again. It says I have 2 viewers on my live chat. On my phone, it says I only have 1. Oh, no, now it's at 2. So that means I can start my presentation finally. I've been waiting for someone to come in. All right. Blacktip sharks. Blacktip shark versus blacktip reef shark. The one on the top. Well, neither of these are blacktip sharks, but just for reference. You see they're very different. Alvin, thank you for coming in, Alvin. I fish for a lot of fish that could eat me. So I do shark fishing pretty regularly. All right. These two are very similarly named fish, but they are not the same fish. Blacktip shark Their scientific name is Carcharchanus limbatus, while blacktip reef sharks are Carcharchanus melanotoporus. Scientific name pronunciation is on point, though they look very similar. Claspers. So the one on the left is a male shark. So as you can see here, this is claspers. It has claspers. The one on the right is a female shark. It doesn't have claspers. This is their sexual reproduction organs. How sharks reproduce, the way that was supposed to say male, not female shark, is the presence or absence of claspers. This is a baby shark. In case you couldn't guess. Oh, I went over one. So Alvin will know this because he was here yesterday. Oviparous or viviparous? Most sharks are viviparous, which means they give birth to live young. Here's an example. If I'm correct, this is a lemon shark. You can even see his yolk sac still attached. And just for better reference, here's one on the left that still has its yolk sac. But there are some sharks that are oviparous, meaning they are in eggs, so to speak. This is a picture of a mostly developed baby shark still in its egg casing. Horn sharks, they lay eggs. That is a pretty good example. Most people know what a horn shark is. Horn sharks are a relatively common egg-laying shark. Most people would know what a horn shark is versus some of the other oviparous shark species. Blacktip sharks are viviparous, meaning they give birth to live young and do not lay eggs. So again, here are two small sharks, as you can see. This one here is also not a blacktip. This one, he's kind of covering the anal fin. No, he's completely covering the anal fin, so I can't tell. I can't identify that shark, but this one here is also not a blacktip shark. As you can see, anal fin has a little bit of a black tip on it. All right, how big do they get? So these are three very big blacktip sharks. So as you can sort of see on this one in the top left, its anal fin right there by my mouse doesn't have a black tip on it. This one, it's very hard to see. It's kind of obstructed by the fly rod. It doesn't have a black tip on its anal fin. This one, this guy's hand's in the way. But it's probably a black tip. It's probably a black tip. Size. The all-tackle world record is 270 pounds. Let that sink in. Almost a 300-pound shark. The world record for fly fishing, this is all the tippet classes, is 101 pounds. It was caught on 20-pound test tippet. The Texas state record, which is where I live, is 190 pounds. Not a decent 80 pounds off of the world record. It's 80 pounds off the world record. A decent amount, obviously, but it's still not a little fish. How do I identify a blacktip shark? Teeth is one way, or specifically, not just their teeth, but their gum line. They have a red gum line. This is obviously a fake shark, but this kind of gives you the idea. They have a red gum line on their teeth, while sharks such as spinners, which are also commonly confused because they're almost identical, especially when they're young, have a white gum line. So here's a pretty good example of the anal fin. Like I was saying, their anal fin will not have a black tip. So this right here, as you can see, it has a black tip on its anal fin. This shark on the top is not a black fin shark. This one on the bottom does not have the black tip. So it is a black tip shark. As you can see, both of these sharks are male due to the presence of claspers. That is how you tell the gender. Oh, I went over one. It's best to see it. Hey, laugh. So this video right here, I'm about to take y'all to, maybe if it'll work. Nope. No. Pause it. Go over to StreamYard. I'm going to change my share screen to the Chrome tab. Blacktip shark identification. So this video here is the video it shows the identifications for blacktip sharks.
Okay, so here we have a blacktip shark. This is a male blacktip here, a little bit better than 4 feet long. And here, even though it's a blacktip, if you notice, it does not have real prominent black tips on its fins, although they are here. But unlike the spinner shark, that the black tips are very prominent, in this guy they're just sort of faded. And here's the important distinguishing characteristic between a black tip and a spinner. When we roll this guy, when you look at the anal fin, if you notice, there's no black tip on this fin. Even though this is a black tip shark, there's no black tip on the spinner, on the anal fin. If this was a spinner, that would be black. Also, unlike the spinner, the black tip is a little bit girthier here in the top, just a little bit huskier, a little bit bigger in the head area. And if we look at the teeth and jaws too, the lower jaw, you see the red around the lower teeth. Most black tips have this, where the spinners is usually just all white around the gum area there. The black tips, for some reason, they've got the sort of a reddish hue there. One more thing that we noticed in the black tips up here in the mid-Atlantic area, right here we see these marks on the skin. And if I rub my hands on there, I actually feel the grit. These are the dermal denticles on the skin are sort of sloughing off. I don't know why they do it, but we notice this up here. Down in the south, we normally don't see this. So they sort of have a ragged appearance. But other than that, that's your normal blacktip shark.
Oh, and that's the identification for a spinner shark. We're not doing those today. So we're going to share the screen back to the presentation. Back to the blacktip shark presentation. All right. What do they eat? Blacktip shark diet. They mostly eat different types of fish, such as mullet, anchovies, sardines, jack crevalle, and Atlantic bumper, typically schooling type fish. Jack crevalle are not common in their typical diet, hunting diet, I should say, because a shark, like a lot of fish, generally will eat anything it comes across that's dead. You won't typically catch them on crabs, but they'll eat them sometimes. They sometimes eat things like shrimp and stingrays as well. It's another thing that they sometimes hunt. It wouldn't surprise me if they scavenge different things at different parts around the world, whether it be dead manatees around Florida, dead whales that kind of wash up, dead dolphins, dead seabirds, or even sick seabirds, dead sea turtles. Just, they scavenge pretty much anything they can get a hold of, but their hunting diet is mostly going to be schooling type fish. What are all the fins called on a blacktip shark? They're just generally sharks in general. So here's a diagram. Let me show you. So the front fin, most of y'all will know, is the dorsal fin. They have a secondary dorsal fin in the back. The caudal fin, I'm terrible at pronouncing it, but I think that's right, is the tail, specifically the lower half, but the tail. The anal fin, which is the way you identify them, is what's right around the claspers. Right here's the pelvic fin. Lots of sharks have pelvic fins. And then the pectoral fins, the larger two that you always notice on pretty much all sharks. Most fish have swim bladders to control how they rise and sink and the water level. Do sharks have swim bladders? No, sharks do not have swim bladders. How do they swim if they are negatively buoyant? There's a more sensitive image up ahead. It's a dissected shark. If you're gonna throw up because seeing fish guts, then it is advised you suck it up, look away, or you leave. Onto it. Their livers. Sharks have extremely oily livers. This helps them from sinking. And as you can see, their livers are also massive. So this entire red dill here is their liver. Here's the pectoral fin. This is a sizable shark. 5-6 feet would be my guess. But that's still a 3.5 foot liver, would be, again, my guess. So their livers are absolutely massive, and they're so unbelievably oily, you would never truly guess how oily their livers are. I had the privilege of dissecting a spiny dogfish at my sea camp, and I knew that their livers were oily. I knew that's how they stayed buoyant, but I never could have guessed that it was on the level of oil that I was able to see. I was able to feel. I grabbed the liver of this spiny dogfish, which is a species of shark. You'd never truly guess they're that oily until you see it. Because even this, you can't tell it's oily. And that's all. That is the end of my presentation on blacktip sharks. Relatively short, it was 21 slides long. Could have been better. Let me give it to you. Could have been better. So that is all for my presentation on blacktip sharks. I'm trying to think. So 3 days from now, I'm leaving to go to Oklahoma. I'm going to try and do, so not counting today, 2 more days. I'm going to try and do 2 more of these fish discussions before I leave. I'm probably not going to be able to do any after this for 2 weeks. That is good to hear, Rocco. That's the point of me doing these. I'm trying to teach people different things about different fish, and I'm trying to learn along the way too. That's why I've done palomino trout, which you were in there for. I've done black pacu, and just pacu is a whole. Then I did something else. All 7 species of gar. Thank you, Alvin. And I'm trying to learn along the way too, So I'm going to try and do 2 more before I go on to Oklahoma. And I want to do 1 saltwater fish and 1 freshwater fish. I have no idea. No idea what I'm going to do for the other 2. Oh, that's the one you missed. Okay. I do not know. I do know of a freshwater fish that does give live birth. I cannot remember its location, but it's a uh, giant freshwater stingray. They give birth to live young. Uh, they're in the shark family, obviously. Outside of the shark family, I can't think of any viviparous fish. Most of them are oviparous, meaning they lay eggs. I was in the Gar Live and had gone back to watch the trout one, yet it's been on my mind. The trout one is no longer up. It got flagged. I played a video at the end of someone fishing for Palomino trout and catching some, and like 5 minutes into the 6 minute long video, I realized there was music. So I went ahead and finished the video. I left it up for a few days. Someone wanted to watch it, they could, and it got flagged. It got flagged, so I had to take it down. But funny story. I might redo that one. So that's funny. But Rocco and Alvin, if y'all have a freshwater or saltwater fish y'all would like to recommend, definitely put it in the live chat here within the next 5 minutes. And if y'all both do a freshwater fish, I will put it in a hat for a drawing, and I'll come up with the saltwater fish. Yeah, Rocco, it's what happens. No copyright claim. Not having to pay a lot of money. Thank God, because I am broke right now, and just on the safe side. That's why from now on, like in that live, I went and looked for a video for Palomino trout. In this video, I did it differently. I did a presentation, and I had a video I had hand selected to be in this video, in this presentation. So without music in it, so I could show it on the live stream. And Arctic char. Okay, Rocco wants Arctic char. I know nothing about this fish, so this is gonna be fun because the Palomino trout, I really didn't learn anything with. It's kind of just like a yellow rainbow trout. It's nothing really all that special difference other than the fact of the genetic difference. The Arctic char, I genuinely know nothing about. You don't either. So this is going to be perfect. We're both going to, if you're in the live stream, we'll both be able to learn about the Arctic char. Tomorrow's live stream will be Arctic char, unless I miss the live stream, which would suck. My parents are coming back tonight, so I don't know if I'll be able to borrow my mom's laptop. They're coming back tonight, Alvin. Relatively late. It's gonna be like midnight. But yeah, no party. But that's all right. This is my party. Getting to come on here, learn and teach about fish. I enjoy this thoroughly. So Arctic char. I'm going to write that down. See here if I can find my pin. And I will write the laugh channel. That way I can credit him for the idea. Where did my pen go to? There it is. Fell on the floor. All right, so Rocco. Oop. The laugh channel. All caps. And then Arctic char. Boom. You can't see it. Lighting. Arctic Char is going to be it. I should be live Sunday, for sure Thursday. If you guys want to pop in, I will definitely join in. I haven't been in one of your live streams in a hot minute. But so Arctic Char is going to be the freshwater fish for one of 2 live streams I do within the next 2 days, hopefully. I will for sure do the Arctic Char. Does anyone have a saltwater fish that y'all would like me to cover? Hey, some old man, we're just finishing up, actually. Should I give the presentation again? I'll have to pull it all back up. Oh, it's getting late. I have to go before too long. Good one with that, Rocco. Leaky John boat fishing. You're going to be sunk. All right. We've supposedly had 2 people just pop in, so I am going to pull back up the presentation, and we're going to speed run it. So we are fly through it, and from now on, I know to keep it up. We're going to try and get it done within 5 minutes. So while I'm doing this, if anyone has a saltwater fish they would like me to cover, say something in the chat. I have my phone pulled up to the left so I can read the chat as it's coming in. I'm always fascinated with groupers in the ocean. If you can give me a species of grouper, or if you could tell me if you just want grouper in general, I can definitely do grouper. Cookie cutter carts. Sharks. Imagine dying. All right. This is good. We're actually getting suggestions. So I'm going to highlight. I know Alvin Lewis, so I'm going to write him down. I've never seen Imagine Dying in here before, so I'm going to highlight him so I make sure I don't lose it. Cookie cutter sharks. There's so many, but giant grouper. I'll write down giant grouper. Well, that's nice to hear. The crap. The whatever it's called, the algorithm, it's helping me out. I am getting suggestions. Y'all have no idea how awesome this is. I never get suggestions. Real quick for Alvin, I'm going to Google giant grouper and see if that is a species, because I am unaware of it. Giant grouper, Queensland grouper. Okay, the Queensland grouper. Yes, I can do Queensland grouper. Alvin. And then someone said something about seahorses. Rocco said something about seahorses. They're not technically fish, but anything related to water other than plants. I stated this in my last live. I am more than willing to do. All right. Yes, it is nice to meet you, Imagine Dying. It's cool that someone came in. Um, if anyone has anything they want to challenge the Arctic char with, I'll be pulling them out of a hat. That's what I'll be doing for the saltwater one. Now that I have 3 suggestions, and eventually yours will get done. So whenever I get suggestions, I'm not going to do something that it's like the blacktip shark was something I thought of. No one suggested it because there were no saltwater suggestions. Now I have 3. I won't do something I think of until all 3 of these are done. And if someone has a freshwater one they would like to see, I am more than happy to write it down too. I might need I have plenty of room. Yes, Imagine Dying, you can give me. Let's see, you have 1. The Laugh has 2. Everyone can give me 2 suggestions. 2 suggestions per person per live. Freshwater, do the you've already got 2, Rocco. All right, so we're going to speed run real fast because I'm getting yelled at. The blacktip shark presentation. All right, blacktip sharks. Blacktip shark versus blacktip reef shark. These 2 are very similarly named fish. The blacktip shark scientific name is Carcharhinus limbatus. I know I'm mispronouncing it. I know I'm butchering it, but that's okay. Well, the blacktip reef sharks is Carcharhinus melanopterus, but they look very similar. What? Yes. Claspers. This is how you tell the difference between a male and a female shark. So on the left here, there's the presence of claspers, and hopefully y'all can see relatively clearly. This is the best picture I could find. Meanwhile, on the right is an absence of claspers. So on the left is a male, on the right is a female. How sharks reproduce. The well between, I should change that. The way to tell between a male and a female shark is the presence or absence of claspers. Oviparous or viviparous? Viviparous means they give live young. They give birth to live young. So here on the top right is a lemon shark. Here's a lemon shark pup. Obviously the largest one is also a lemon shark. So as you can see coming here, it's a yolk sac. So, man, would you like me to write down tarpon? I would love to do the Silver King. And you can sort of see it, it's hard to see it, sandy, not a great picture. So here on the top left is another picture of a young shark that has a yolk sac. Imagine Dying. So Imagine Dying, that's your second one, so you can't do any more. But for freshwater, I'll write it next to your other one. Mekong giant catfish. That could be cool to do. So, man, tell me yes or no if you want me to do tarpon for one. And then down here on the bottom left is an oviparous species of shark. So the way you can tell is, I'm sure y'all can see it, the membrane around the pup is an egg. There are very few species of oviparous sharks. An example would be a horn shark. Viviparous. Blacktip sharks are viviparous. That means they give birth to live young. They don't lay eggs. How big do they get? How big can they get? Let's see. Size. The all-tackle world record for any line class was 270 pounds. The world record for fly fishing, any tippet class, is 101 pounds. If I am correct, it was caught on 20-pound tippet. The Texas state record, all line class, well, there's like a limit to how heavy of line you can use. It's like 250 pounds. Is 190 pounds. How do you identify a blacktip shark from other species of shark? Their gum line, when pulled down, is typically red. Their anal fin will not have a black tip. The key is not. So up here on the top, what is most likely this species of shark, as you can see, it's a male from the presence of claspers. It has a black anal fin, which is this fin right here. My mouse is on it. Is a most likely a spinner shark. Meanwhile, on the bottom, as you can see, there's claspers, so it's another male, but there is an absence of a black tip on an anal fin, meaning most likely this is also a black tip on the bottom. Meanwhile, this is most likely, my guess would be a spinner. It's best to see it. The video here will show you what I'm talking about. So I have to hearing. I'm gonna skip it. So y'all can't see the thing yet, just in case and weird ad like that popped up. So I'm going to come over here, remove the presentation. I'm going to share screen and I'm going to share the blacktip identification video. Yes, I can do tarpon. I would love to do tarpon personally.
Okay, so here we have a
I'm happy
blacktip
about that
shark. This is a male blacktip here, a little bit better than 4 feet long. And here, even though it's a blacktip, if you notice, it does not have real prominent black tips on its fins, although they are here. But unlike the spinner shark, that the black tips are very prominent, in this guy they're just sort of faded. And here's the important distinguishing characteristic between a black tip and a spinner. When we roll this guy, when you look at the anal fin, if you notice, there's no black tip on this fin, even though this is a black tip shark. There's no black tip on the spinner, on the anal fin. If this was a spinner, that would be black. Also, unlike the spinner, the black tip is a little bit girthier here in the top, just a little bit huskier, a little bit bigger in the head area. And if we look at the teeth and jaws too, the lower jaw, you see the red around the lower teeth. Most black tips have this, where the spinners, it's usually just all white around the gum area there. The black tips, for some reason, they've got the sort of a reddish hue there. One more thing that we noticed in the black tips up here in the mid-Atlantic area, right here we see these marks on the skin. And if I rub my hands on there, I actually feel the grit. These are the dermal denticles on the skin are sort of sloughing off. I don't know why they do it, but we notice this up here. Down in the south, we normally don't see this. So they sort of have a kind of a ragged appearance. But other than that, that's your normal black tip shark.
All right. Nope. So that was just a little identification video on blacktip sharks. So back to the presentation now. What do they eat? What do blacktip sharks eat? Real quick, some old man, I have got you written down for tarpon. So your name will be put into a hat drawing with cookie cutter sharks, seahorses, and Queensland grouper. Blacktip shark diet. They mostly eat different types of fish, such as mullet, which is what is in the picture here, anchovies, sardines, Atlantic bumper. I'm sure sometimes they get a hold of Jack Crevalle, which you can catch them on. It's a pretty good shark bait in general. They will also sometimes eat things such as stingrays and shrimp. And they'll kind of eat what they can get their hands on. Typically, they're hunting schooling fish. Mullet, it doesn't surprise me that sometimes, especially since they get up in the bays, they eat shrimp and rays. What are all the fins on sharks called? Here is a diagram, so let me show you. This right here is the primary dorsal fin. Here's the secondary, the caudal fin, which I'm probably butchering the pronunciation, specifically the bottom half of the tail fin, the anal fin, the pelvic fin, and the pectoral fins. This is obviously the gills, the eye, the mouth, the eye. Do they have a swim bladder? No, sharks do not have swim bladders. So how do they swim if they are negatively buoyant? There's an image of a cut open shark on the next slide. This is your warning. I will give a heads up whenever it's over if someone has to look away, because now we have more people in here. Their livers. Sharks have extremely oily livers. This helps them from sinking because of all the oils in their body. Their livers are also massive. So my guess is this is probably a 5 to 6 foot shark. Would be a fair guesstimate judging by the size of its belly, or it's an extremely fat 4.5. 4.5 to 6 foot would be my guess. So that means this liver is most likely 3 to 3.5 foot long. So that just shows how big their livers are in comparison to the rest of their bodies. And it's very hard to know how oily a shark liver truly is. Relatively recently, I got an opportunity to dissect a spiny dogfish, which is another species of shark. And I knew they had oily livers. Sharks had oily livers before doing it, but I never could have guessed it was so oily. And because of all the oils, the liver itself, because I was dissecting it, I took it out, is so unbelievably slippery. It's like wet soap. You can't hold it. It's almost impossible, especially if you have to squeeze it. That's all 21 slides. It was relatively fast to get through. So that's all. That's all for my slideshow on blacktip sharks. We lost 2 people, but that's okay. So I'm just going to read over all the suggestions we have. So Rocco has suggested Arctic char and seahorses. No way. It was only oil. Was it as oily as McDonald's French fries? That's a good question. Physical oils, definitely. Oils, it's probably. The answer is probably. Imagine Dying has the cookie cutter shark as well as the Mekong giant catfish for his 2 suggestions. Alvin has suggested the Queensland grouper, also known as the giant grouper, which is what he called it by. Then some old man has suggested tarpon. So currently we have 4 saltwater species that will get drawn from a hat, and then 2 freshwater species that will get drawn from a hat. To be decided on what tomorrow's live stream is going to be, since that is the only way I can think to fairly do it. Does anyone else have any suggestions other than Rocco and Imagine Dying 24? Because y'all have already hit y'all's limit of 2. If so, please say something in the chat fast. Freshwater or saltwater, just know right now you have a higher chance of getting it done one of the next 2 fish discussions if you pick salt, or if you pick freshwater, actually, which hasn't happened before. I've never had anyone suggest, or I guess request, saltwater fish before. Jolly Varden trout, Alvin. So that's your second one, Alvin. You can't. Is that even a fish species? I've never heard of a Dolly Varden trout. I'm going to Google this really quick. Dolly Varden trout. It's a thing. Wow. Okay. That's really cool. I didn't know that existed, so I'm interested from that for that one right there. Let me write it down. Dolly Varden trout. Okay, I'm interested about that one deeply. Um, this is the good part about having people suggest things is I know nothing about Arctic char. I know very little about Mekong catfish, Mekong giant catfish. I've never heard of a Dolly Varden trout. So this is where this starts to benefit me because the whole point of me doing this was I wanted to learn more about the fish species here on this planet, here on Earth that I don't know about. I can't know everything about everything. But this is fun. It's enjoyable. So all these will be drawn from a hat. Yeah, I caught a 24 incher. Had to throw it back because they were stocking them in the lake. And I like to see if they would do good. Yes, imagine dying. There is going to be separate hats for freshwater and saltwater fish. So I don't know what tomorrow is going to be. Tomorrow is either going to be a freshwater or saltwater species of fish, and the next day will be the other one. So if I do saltwater tomorrow, the next day will be freshwater, and it'll be drawn from a separate hat. So it's like it's a divider. So over here is freshwater, over here is saltwater. Two separate hats, two separate water salinities, um, a lot of different species, a lot of uniqueness. I don't see it as fair for someone to. So, like right now, we have 3 freshwater and 4 saltwater. I don't see it fair to put only 3 freshwater with 4 saltwater and jumble them up because obviously the chances are higher of saltwater, though not by much right now. So I believe they should be separate. So since today was saltwater, I'll probably do freshwater tomorrow. I feel like that's reasonable. And trying to be reasonable about this, trying to be fair, so everyone can see their fish get talked about, and I can learn about them as much as possible. I've got to go eat dinner. Some old man said he's out. Thank you for stopping by. I hope I got to teach you something about sharks in general, blacktip sharks specifically. Um, I'm here to teach people and learn along the way. That's my goal. It's my goal. I'm here to learn and then teach what I've learned. And depending on, since tomorrow is all 3 of the freshwater fish, I don't know enough to write a presentation about. So all 3 of the fish I'll be able to do actual research about. So maybe we'll have more entertaining information to be discussed. This is exciting for me. That's going to do it for our stream, folks. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by. Thank you, everyone, for all your suggestions. They will all be done eventually. Can't promise them. The longer a suggestion is in a hat, the higher priority it'll take. Imagine dying 24. What is your favorite fish? That's a tough one. It would depend. It would depend. What is my favorite fish that I catch, or what is my favorite fish whole world? I've never caught before. Because my favorite fish that I get to regularly catch is probably ladyfish because I enjoy catching them on my fly rod. They're acrobatic. They're really fast. Whole world. Okay. That takes a little bit more thinking. Um, I'm stuck. I'm stuck between two species. So I like anglerfish a lot because they're so unique. They're so different. They're so bizarre to me. I like them because of that. And then I like tarpon a whole lot because think of the perfect sport fish. You want something that's fast. You want something that jumps. You want something hard to hook, something that's very rewarding to catch. And tarpons just they check all those boxes. They fight hard. Never caught one, but you know, watch a fly fishing tarpon video, and you'll see what I mean. There's one I can't remember the name of it, a short film that truly shows you just how amazing they are. And that's why I'm excited to talk about tarpon. That I'm excited that some old man suggested it. Um, Honestly, I'm really excited about all the things that have been suggested because all the things that have been suggested, the tarpon and seahorses, I know a little bit about, probably not enough to make a presentation on. So I'm excited about them all. That is going to have to do it because I am getting yelled at more and more. I've got to go eat dinner. So I'll do a hat drawing. And yes, some old man, I have to go. I'll do a hat drawing tomorrow for freshwater fish species. So it's between the Dolly Varden trout, the Mekong giant catfish, and Arctic char. So there's three possibilities. Make sure to be back here tomorrow. I'll post like a 10 minutes ahead, waiting for it after I'm done, depending on the time. Or maybe it'll be a little bit longer, letting y'all know when I can post, when I can start the live and when I can start on it. And until then, everyone be safe. And hopefully I'll all be back here tomorrow for my tomorrow's presentation. I think it's going to be enjoyable. Bye, everyone.